Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim.
And this is Raina Troxell.
Hello.
And she is going to give us a wealth of information today, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for asking me.
We're so excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's delve into it. Renee publishes Hometown Neighbors, which I think is so amazing for small towns in our Northeast Georgia area, correct? Or I don't even know. I want to know, do you go all over? Do you go out of the state?
We cover 9 counties. I started in June 2004 with just 3 counties, Franklin, Stevens, and Hart. And then about a year later, I started the second magazine, which covered Banks, Jackson, and Habersham.
Okay.
And then I ended up adding Madison and Elbert to the first magazine and Clark County to the Banks, Jackson, Habersham.
So is this your baby?
It is.
Okay. Oh, that's how impressive.
I know.
Well, thanks, but I was ad director for a bunch of newspapers, and I seen the writing on the wall. I could tell that the internet and it was just going to change the way that local newspapers were sought and read, and especially weekly, and I was with weekly newspapers. And I just knew by the time you got the newspaper, you'd already heard it a million times, and and it was going to only get worse. And so the one thing that I had researched is even now, the only print media that has kept pretty much up, even went through all the online, everything that's kind of come about in the digital world, is magazines. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is it's not time sensitive. You can sit it on your coffee table, long shelf life. You might not have time to read it like no one's reading like grandfather and grandmother that you sit down with a cup of coffee and read the newspaper every day, but you can come back to it and it's still relevant. And so that's one, is longevity. And the second thing is because people still do like to read. Thankfully, people haven't lost that. They still like to read. Even if they're reading their book on their iPad or whatever, they still do like to read. And then I think thirdly is because people do want to be connected to hometown local things. And you even see that in big national magazines, that some of them that have flourished is all about hometown, small town, making your farm. People want to still connect to that old, life's too busy, let's calm down.
Awesome. That is so cool.
I saw a thing on the internet about how Martha Stewart, who of course, she plants all her own vegetables, she propagates flowers, she does all her own cooking. Well, she is more popular now because people are going back to that.
Definitely.
It's like you said, everybody wants to be part of a hometown.
They do. Life has gotten so busy, and especially with the digital world and with the world that you have where everyone can get in touch with you because you have a cell phone in your hand.
Instant gratification,
exactly.
baby.
And so I think it's just a way people are grasping to slow down what they're saying, hey, I want this kind of life because my regular life is just running me ragged.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think that's the reason why we have been successful. As of now, I'm the only locally owned and operated magazine left in the state of Georgia that's over 20 years old with the original owners monthly. And so,
that's an accomplishment.
So that's a lot of fun. There's a few that have sold to bigger newspaper groups, and not to say that I haven't been approached, but this has been a blessing to me, and I don't like to lose control, so I'm a little OCD like that.
Okay, do you ever get any sleep? Because, this doesn't just happen. This magazine doesn't just happen. You have to get your advertisers. You have to get your content, the cover, the artwork. when I think about how much you have to do, how
And do
get
you
all
have
that
people
done?
working for you to
Yeah.
help?
I have a graphic designer who is so much more talented than I could ever be. I can do graphic design all day, but that doesn't mean just because you can do something don't mean you're
it's
good
good.
at it. And her name is Mary. She lives right outside of Pittsburgh, but she
wow.
she lived in Livonia when she started with me 20 years ago. She's been with me forever. But you do everything on digitally, so it's okay. Wherever she wanted to live is fine. And she just is so talented. I sometimes I'll have to do an ad and I'll look at hers and be like, you can tell the difference. She swears you can't, but I can. Anyway, and but besides that, pretty much I do it. But I will say this, that I came from the advertising world. So most people who open a publication come from the publishing side of the world. Well, you can have the prettiest magazine, the best content in the world, but if you can't sell ads, you ain't gonna making it. I mean, because
Right.
it's just print. It's just so expensive. It is, especially full color. Just thinking about how much it's went up, paper, just it's crazy from when I started to how much it is now. But thankfully, people get response and they run ads, and advertising's too expensive not to get response. So and I love people, so that's my fun part of the job. Let Mary do the graphic design. Let me go out and sell the ads.
Nice. Well, we were fortunate enough to have you come to Maysville and do a write-up on us in March.
Well, I've always loved this town. The Heritage Caning, he used to run advertising me years ago. He's so busy now, I don't have to run advertising. That unfortunately, that's a lost art. And so one of the few people you can still find that can do caning.
I think he's one of few in the United States.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with Maysville then. Back in the day, there was a place called Burns Telford House that I used to go to and eat. She was a great cook, and had a little restaurant in there. And so
Was that Kay's
it
place?
was Kay.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice,
and
nice.
so been coming here for years, and then I just think, like with everything else, back in the first downturn, what I call the crash of those 07s, 08s,
Yeah.
it just hurt everybody. I've seen such a increase back here in Maysville, and lots of hometowns that are coming back again. And it's so nice to come back and see that growth, and but still keep the small town feel.
Right.
Yeah, there's a fine line, struggling to keep, keep the
100%.
Walmarts out, but keep,
100% agree with that. I mean, it's, it is. But, like I tell people, you moved from something to here to get away from that something. So there's a reason why you're here. So let's
Right.
not bring everything with it,
Right.
And it is a fine line, because you still got to have things for people to do. I mean, you still need your restaurants and but small mom and pops, that's where you want to see flourish in a town like this.
So you've seen Maysville grow and do the different things.
Yes, 100%. And it's just so nice to see so many towns start coming back again. And again, I think that fits right back into people want to slow down. People are starting to appreciate what the older people knew to begin with,
Yeah.
that it's not all about work. You got to have a balance. I mean, even though in this world it costs money to live, but you do have to have a balance. I think that people are searching for that and wanting that, and that's why the towns like Maysville are so sought after now. I do.
Yeah, it's like we have to quit telling people about Maysville.
That's funny you said that, because in Livonia, which is where I live in Livonia, and it's a small town too. But I just say, one of my friends put on there, a new restaurant came to town, and he was just raving about it. He said, "Please come eat here, but don't come move here." And we all thought that was funny. But it's just, it's not that we don't love outsiders. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with, if you're going to come here, you want the small town. You got to
Keep it that way.
Keep it that way. Exactly. That's why you can't.
Livonia has done such amazing things. Their downtown development authority is going gangbusters. It's really turned
It's
around.
really cute.
It's
really cute.
I don't only own the magazine, but I own businesses in downtown Livonia, and so I'm huge on small mom and pops, and that's actually how I ended up being owners, because I've been in advertising pretty much my whole life. But how I ended up owning a small mom and pop is one of my advertisers about 15 years ago wanted to retire. And it was called Willow Bend, downtown Livonia. I'd been there like 15 years, the biggest store in our town. And she said to me, she said, she owned the building, and she said, I'm either closing up and selling this building, or you're buying it. And
Really?
Did you see that coming?
Oh no, I didn't see that coming.
You're like, "Hey, what?"
I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so humbled. I so appreciate it, but there's only one of me. I don't know if I can do that." And she said, I'm telling you, this store, it needs you. And so I went home and spoke with my husband. He said, "You've always wanted a small business downtown." And I said, "Yeah, but there's just one of me." He said, "Well, ask the lady that works there," which was, Carlotta does not have to work at all. But Carlotta was Lynn's best friend. And I said, "Well, she's not going to stay. She's just there because they're having fun." And he said, "Well, if she says no, then, it's not meant to be. If she says yes and wants to stay as your manager, then it's meant to be." Well, that was almost 15 years ago, and Carlotta's the best thing that ever came with the store, and she's still with me today.
Oh, how wonderful.
And so I ended up starting that one. We had a little coffee shop open up right next door, and fortunately they were open about 2.5 years and just wasn't making it. And I don't know, I thought, okay, everybody loves this little coffee shop. It's right next door. I hate to see it close. I don't even drink coffee. I do not like coffee.
And there's still just one of you.
And I went over there and I said, what are your plans? And they were advertising with me too. And I said, what are your plans? And she said, well, we're just going to see what we can get out of the equipment. And I said, well, you tell me what you can get out of the equipment, and instead of you having to carry it there and everything, I'll buy it. And so I ended up buying the coffee shop next door. And I immediately put ice cream in there too, made it an ice cream shop and that was in February, and the ice cream started paying off right away. I didn't think that would pay.
February?
Yeah, I was like, I was just like, okay, I know I want it to be ice cream shop too. Something we're missing. And it was quick that I realized that was a good decision.
Noted.
So I had it for 5 years. I sold the business 3 years ago, and happily to say it's doing very well.
Good.
Wonderful. And what's the name of it?
It's called Vintage Cup.
Okay.
Vintage Owl is my retail business, and then 2 years ago, no, maybe 3 years ago now, I opened an antique mall in town called Vintage Home, and sold it January 1st. So I don't think I'll ever get rid of Vintage Owl, because fortunately the person that I bought the businesses from and the next door business, the coffee shop, they sold me both businesses 3 years ago. So now I own those two businesses in town, buildings too. I feel like if you're in a position to add to your hometown, that if you can do it, then, those three businesses wouldn't be there today,
Right.
and like I said, I knew I wouldn't hold on to the coffee shop forever, because I was just fortunate. I had a great manager. She stayed, the girl that was there, they did know coffee. And so that was great. But I knew when I found the right coffee lover and someone that had the same vision of small town, that I would be willing to sell it. And that was the same way. I ended up selling Vintage Home to one of my vendors. So it helped. It wasn't something, those two businesses I had never planned to just keep, but I knew someone had to step in to get them to the point where they were, someone could take over. And if you have more like that, I think I see that's how I notice that's how small towns really start flourishing, is those people that will step in, that may not be their love, but they can step in or in a position to do it and then pass it on. And, you know, and I've seen that happen in so many towns.
And that's the importance of investing in a small town.
Yes, 100%.
Because if one person does something, the next person does it.
Yes.
It's a
Trickle down.
domino effect.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, it 100% is. I mean, I can just sit here and think of some of the towns that I have in the 9 counties we serve, that's how it started. I mean, it really did. And it's just, you know, you can't be just one small and pop in a town and survive. People want to come, I mean, and they want more than just one business. And the more that you work together and the more that you bring, the more that you all benefit from it.
So in your many years of doing this, which town sticks out the most to you that came from this and went to wow? Went from nothing to woo.
You know, it would probably be Hartwell.
Really?
And Hartwell had, you know, and they do have the lake. I mean, they have a huge, you know, and that's what Livonia we have. I mean, we definitely get residual from lake people, and so we thank God for them. But Hartwell, I've seen them, you know, just flourish, and then I've seen it where there was every storefront was available, and now you can't find a storefront. I mean, that's available. I mean, there's people wanting to, I mean, they're actually starting to build new places for businesses to come in, you know, and they've added on so much to downtown. Pretty much every single building is refurbished now with somebody in it.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing what they've done there.
What do you think made that transition? What was that success story that caused them to go from that?
I think one was exactly what we were just talking about. There were some people who stepped up, who opened businesses that had already, I can think of one right now, that she was retired, chemist, didn't need a
She's
job.
a chemist.
Oh, really? Yeah, great. And didn't really need a job, but there was a storefront there. Her husband is in construction. She was like, you know, this building's falling apart, but it could be beautiful. It was actually with an old theater. I'm pretty sure that building was. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. And they went in, and she just had a vision. She said, you know what? It's my retirement job. And her husband went in and renovated it, and it's one of the most successful businesses downtown.
Wow.
Nice.
And you know, and it was like then there was 2 retired people that opened an art gallery. They're only open 3 days a week, but that was 15 years ago. I know it's been at least 15 years, and it was just those just kept on, and it just it snowballed like we were talking about, and most of them. Actually, I can think of half a dozen people there. They were retired, and it was just, I can do it, and I'm going to invest in this town. I live here. And then it just started from there.
Wow.
Well, it's starting to happen here in Maysville to a degree.
Yes, and that's the thing. If you you know, I was talking to Scott at the coin shop, and in July's magazine, he'll be our feature business, and you know, he was saying, you know, he has a whole nother business that really pays the bills. He opened this up because of what we were just talking about. And he happened to be like mayor pro tem for 20 years, and he wants to see downtown flourish, and he realizes you got to do that. And those are the kind of people that, you know, that just, they have a vision and they have a love.
Yeah.
I think that's first. They have a love for the town. And I lived in downtown Livonia. Still own that house, first house I ever bought. Been in 30 years. It's fixing to go on the market. We ended up building a house on the lake, and just moved in Thanksgiving Day, and so we're renovating our finish. It's had 3 remodels.
Do you have a realtor?
And I don't.
She's a realtor.
Okay, awesome. I actually have 2 people I've promised to show it to before. But you know, there were some things we wanted to do before we put it on the market, and but you know, I can walk to all the downtown businesses from my house, and it's going to be it's if my kids grew up there, it's going to be bittersweet selling it. And but we built our retirement home on the lake, so I said, okay, it was it's time to let go of that. But it's because I lived downtown for so many years, and my kids were raised there and rode bikes downtown. I think that's how that love is. That's why these people are starting. Not just me, but tons of people I'm seeing in these small towns are starting to see what we've lost and willing to invest in it.
Right.
And I think that's why so many people love hometown neighbors, is because we long for that. Like
do.
for me, and I'm sure it's probably your experience too, like if I've been really busy and my relax is I take a nice shower and then I grab the magazine, I sit down and I read every little thing. Sometimes I read it twice, because it's just
Calm.
Heartwarming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing I like about this is it's not like you're reading I don't want to say the name of a magazine, but
Yeah.
the magazines that so and so's doing this and so's doing the Halle Berry or whatever.
Yeah, right. I get it.
What's Justin Bieber's wife doing? No, this is real talk. What's going on in my community, and it's just so calming and relaxing and informative. All the
Upcoming
different stuff that's
events.
in there. Yeah.
Grand openings. I mean, I think it's heartwarming is the best way to put it, I think, for me.
And it gives me a new connection with people I may not know that are near here. I'm like, nice, I didn't know that.
Even I get, traveling, even I find spots that I can, keep going back to, and, restaurants and that's, I think that's something that I wanted to do when I did start the magazine. I wanted you to know what's in your own neighborhood.
Yeah.
You do have, in a 9-county, you can go visit so many restaurants, so many different mom and pops, so many antique stores right here. I mean, within an hour drive of where you're sitting right now, there is just so much that Northeast Georgia has to offer. And that was something that when I was at the newspaper, that was the only thing we would do stories after the fact. Let's say, Clarksville Mountain Laurel Festival. You'd see a full page of everybody that had a great time on Saturday and, and all the stuff that was there, but we really didn't do anything about it coming. So nobody really knew to make plans to go. So that was my first thing that I definitely want to do in the magazine, is that we do everything before the fact. We say, hey, it's coming. Make plans for it, put it on. Here's pictures from last year. You're going to love it. You got to go to this town and you got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy their festival. And I think that was one of the niches that people first caught on when I first came out. They're like, I didn't even know, Clarksville, 45 minutes away, had the Mountain Laurel Festival. Because there's so many new, if you live there all your life, sure you know it. But there's so many newcomers to our area, they don't know about these festivals that have been going on for 50 years. They don't have a clue.
Our festival's pretty right around the corner.
Yes.
I mean, October.
Yes, I know. I'm excited for it. We ran a little teaser ad about it, but can't wait to run some more, getting closer. And, in Northeast Georgia in the fall, they ain't nothing like it.
It's beautiful.
It
Just
is.
beautiful.
We're fortunate for sure.
I know a lot of people that advertise in it have told me that they really get a lot of out-of-towners because of advertising in your
that's
magazine.
great.
And people come in and say, I had no idea you were here. And I looked at the hometown neighbors.
Yeah.
And so that's good to know that your advertising dollar is really paying off for the businesses.
Is it monthly?
It's monthly. We're always delivered by the first of the month. My family has always done the delivery. Couple of reasons for that. First reason is I want to know it's where it's supposed to be and when it's supposed to be there. Secondly is we can judge, if somebody's going through a ton, we're going to leave more. We're going to keep leaving. If someone that used to go through a lot and maybe don't go through as many, we can adjust for that, because you pay me. My job is to get this in somebody's hands.
Yes.
If I'm not taking care of knowing where this magazine is going and getting in somebody's hands, then I'm not doing my job. So my family all have their own routes. They keep up and they let me know. For example, there was a restaurant in Toccoa that at one time they could go through, and I'm not exaggerating, 500 magazines a month.
Oh,
Easily.
wow.
That's great.
Easily. I actually probably could have done more. And, you know, it had changed hands several times, and it had gotten to the point where it wouldn't go through 100. Well, if we had not done the delivery, we'd have been dropping 400 magazines that you paid me to get in somebody's hands if I was just paying a delivery service, and they'd have just kept dropping them, you know. And that's, you know, but I have a good family that was their job, you know. My 2 boys and my daughter, they all growing up through high school knew, oh, it's time for delivery, and they took off in their vehicles with boxes of magazines.
That's
and
awesome.
delivered. We print 10,000 between the 9 counties, so every month we deliver 10,000 magazines, and we have a little over 800 locations that we drop the magazines.
Ooh.
Wow. And who's your printer?
We print. We use a local printer out
Good.
of. We don't have one in our 9 counties, but we still do local small town printer. It's in Easley, South Carolina. It's Martin Printing. They've been in business for, I think 75 years maybe.
Oh,
wow.
But they're locally owned and operated. Yeah, with the original owner. The son is running it now.
And they're happy to have it, I'm sure, because, like you said, the internet has taken away a lot of
print.
publications. Yes.
Definitely, 100%.
But I can't ever go back and find what I was looking at the internet. I have stacks of these. And I get to go back and look at them with different covers and, you know, which covers I like.
Kind of like
best.
Southern Living, you know, or Sunset. You know, you look forward to it every month.
Thank you.
Only better because this is relative to me. Southern Living, it's like, oh, that's,
Yeah.
you know, in the distance. This is my hometown. This is my area. These are things that I can go see, and these are things that I learn about every month. And every month I see something, I'm like, oh, well, how did I not know about that?
I feel the same way when I go out and call on
Really?
people. I'm
Do you
like,
really?
yeah, like when I go out and call them, I'm like, wow, that just opened. I got to go call them. And it's not, and yes, of course, I want to sell them advertising. I mean, that's my job. But it's so neat that I find places, my favorite places to eat, that I would have never found if I hadn't been out, you know, calling or delivering magazines, trying to find new, even if they don't advertise, trying to find new spots for us to leave the magazine that I feel like it will go. It's so much fun. I'm just thankful we live in Northeast Georgia. I mean, I'm from South Georgia, and my whole family still lives in Valdosta, but it ain't nothing like North Georgia. I mean, the seasons here, we're above the gnat line. I mean,
Thank God.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how I did it. Anyway, we don't have that harshness of seasons, but we still have seasons. And there's just so much. We've got the mountains. Within just driving distance. If you do want to go to a big city, I don't know why you do, but if you do, it's right down the street. I mean, an hour and a half away. I mean, you know, it's just the beach, a 4-hour drive. I mean, you do have those things that you can leave, but then you can come back here and be within a driving distance if you want to go out, but come back here to where hometown is, because ain't nothing like home.
Right. Right. And how did you come up with the name Hometown Neighbors?
I actually, I was praying about it. The company that I left, I had come up with this for that company. And I really gave them the name that I really wanted for a magazine that I would start. And they never did it right. And so that's why I was like, okay. They wanted to save money, so they didn't do it the way it should have been done. So I was like, okay, Lord, I had a name in mind. Now they're using it. What do I need to come up with? And it just, hometown came to me. So I knew hometown, I knew that. And I just kept saying, I couldn't think of that. You know, I was like, hometown living. I mean, I just went through everything with hometown you could come up with. Tried to find something with an H. I like, you know, nothing. Couldn't do hometown homies. You know, but when I hit that hometown homies, I'm like, neighbors, everybody, neighborhood, you know. And so that's how I came up with it. But I really didn't come up with it. The Lord kind of gave it to me. But it was, you know, and I didn't know then how perfect, how I had no clue how perfect that name would have been. Even better than the name that I gave. And that's that's when the Lord knows things out that you don't know right now immediately.
Yep.
He already has your back. Because I thought I gave the best name. No, I did not.
He saved that one for you.
He wouldn't let that come out of your mouth.
Exactly.
He knew you'd need it later on.
Exactly. It's so, and you can't make that kind of stuff up. I mean, he knows, so far in advance. I mean, it's been a blessing. I mean, the magazine has been I hear people, and I'm so humbled by it. I hear people, and I get letters and emails every month, and it's just so humble that people love this magazine so much. But it's been such a blessing to me personally. I mean, I left a job, the corporate world, making some money and thinking, and my husband thought I was nuts to start this. And, it's always paid the bills. It put 2 kids through college with no student loans.
Nice.
It's just done everything I needed it to do. May have not been the money I probably would be at today in the corporate world, but it always has more than sufficed what I needed it to. And that's saying so much.
Huge.
And I got to make friends and not, actually my best friend, if there's any story I can say, my best friend of 20 years now, I would have never met if it wasn't for this magazine. She's vice president of North Georgia Credit Union, and we met by me trying to sell her advertising 20 years ago in this magazine when she was over the marketing. And she said, this is a funny story, but it's true. She's like, oh, who's this chick coming in trying to sell me something?
Oh, wow.
And we have been best friends ever since. And, and so I just can't tell you the friends that I have made, relationship. And I think that's the biggest thing too, is it is about relationships. It's not about selling an ad. I even said this when I was ad director, and my big bosses didn't really care for it, but it's the truth. If you're out just selling to be selling, then you don't need to be in this business. If you don't have someone's business at heart, what's best for them,
Right.
then don't be in this business,
Right.
because it's not for you. Anyone can sell a one-time ad. Anyone can. But only people that care, that want to build relationships, that really care about somebody else's business, and that's why they're in there trying to sell them advertising, those are the people that are going to make it in the long term. Because it's not about the ad. It's not about selling it. It's about helping them. And if you're not willing to help them, and that's not your main purpose, then I don't think you should be selling anything personally.
Well, that's one of the reasons why you've been around for so long, because it works.
Thanks.
It works.
And gives you quality of life. I mean, the corporate world is cutthroat.
Oh, what a difference. I can't tell you what a difference. It's just, and like I said, that was my ideology then, and the big corporate bosses were like, oh, we just want to sell an ad, and so when yours doesn't align, in the long term, that's not where you need to be.
Right. Well, we're glad you're here.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you asked me here today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if somebody wants to advertise, or if somebody wants you to do a drop-off at their location or get in touch with you, how would they do that?
They're welcome to call the office. Our office is in downtown Livonia. Been there, it's moved in downtown, but I've had a downtown office for 20 years. They can call the office number, which is 706-356-0273. Or they can email me at hometownneighbors@windstream.net. Email me. I look at that thing 100 times a day. hometownneighbors@windstream.net. I will get back to you.
Yeah, it's a great magazine.
It is.
I love it. I love it. I look forward to it.
Thank you. Thank
do.
y'all so much. Well, I love Maysville. It's just been some of the friends that I have just made just recently. It's just been great.
Okay, speaking of recently, have you eaten at Downtown Eats yet?
I have. I've ate there twice.
Ooh.
And I got her to do my husband's birthday tiramisu. And I'm probably not saying that right because
Nice.
I don't speak Italian. But anyway, but yes, that's my husband. That's his favorite dessert. So got him a big old pan that she made for
Nice.
him for his birthday in March.
She makes really good pound cakes, too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I want to try. She says she makes a lemon one, and I love lemon. I got to try her lemon one.
everything at her restaurant melts in your mouth.
Yeah, it was
I don't know how she
great.
does it, but it's everything is delicious.
Delicious.
Last week I had the salmon, something encrusted salmon. I don't
Oh,
know.
I love salmon.
It was,
Oh,
and
I love it.
and the prime rib. I had that too.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to try because I've only ate lunch there twice, and so but I'm gonna have to come back for dinner.
Oh, you must.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
must.
yeah.
It is a treat.
This weekend she's having a
buffet.
shrimp and grits and a crab claws, I think. I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Might have to do that.
Downtown Eats. Is she in your magazine yet?
And I'm working on
You're
it.
working
I'm
on it,
talking
okay.
to her. I'm trying.
Well, it's delicious. It
Yeah,
is delicious.
great.
Yeah. Well, hometown neighbors, wonderful. Thank you for what you do. Thanks for what you do for
you.
the community. Thanks what you do for people like Kim and I who love to read it, and we appreciate
And for
it.
Northeast
Thank
Georgia.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed my time here.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in to yet another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim.
And I'm Renee.
And we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.